All right. So now officially, good morning. Today is Tuesday, September 12th, and this is Tuesday Talks with Christina Dilbo, Director of Communications for the Desert Southwest Conference, and other communicators from all around the Desert Southwest Conference. What do we do on Tuesday Talks? We talk about what's coming up from the conference, from the district, from the United Methodist Church. Once in a while, we get some information from the local church of stuff that's coming up. And that is going to be one of the items that I talk about today. Questions are always welcome. And in fact, if you don't have questions during Tuesday Talks, but you think of something down the road, please don't hesitate to email me at communications@dscumc.org. And that often is how I come up with the topics of what we're going to talk about in the next Tuesday Talks. Alrighty, so without any more delay, let me check my notes. So the first item that I want to cover is a quick note about downloading the forms from the charge conference forms or church conference, whichever one it is that you may have. Let's see. I'm struggling today because I normally have multiple screens plugged in, and I had to unplug them because I was having some issues with them. And so now things are like hiding from me. Okay, here we go. Share screen. I'll go desktop one. So it's going to look a little weird because I'm just going to share my whole one desktop and it goes back and forth from all sorts of stuff. Okay, so what I wanted to share. So I'm going to start from the home page. Let's make this bigger. Okay. So one of the ways that I get to the church forms pretty quickly is I just hover over the laity menu there and I go to church forms and it'll open up. So, and there was a full detailed instructional thing about charge conference forms, how to use them and all that. And so this isn't going to be super detailed. It's just one item that I noticed. I had a question yesterday about someone was having a problem downloading forms and for their charge conference stuff. I'm saying charge, it may be church. I don't know the difference, honestly. I'm sorry. And so I just wanted to show that, let's open this in a different one, that when you go here to the where you can download all the forms, if you're not going to fill them out online, this particular one was asking about two forms. It was the SPRC, there it is, appointment preference form, not the worksheet. They were able to download the worksheet, but this particular one they were struggling with. So for me, I would click here on download when I highlighted that article. You may see that when you download from a Google Drive, you might get a warning letting you know that, hey, are you sure you should trust this? Or it kind of looks like an error message. But if you, I'm not going to get it because this is my Google Drive, so it'll be fine for me. But if this is your first time accessing these forms and wanting to download one of these files, you could see something that looks like, oh no, you can't download, stop, warning. This could have a virus. Everything here is clean, it's fine, it's worked for others, but you may have, it might seem like it's not working, and heck, I don't know, maybe on someone's computer it doesn't. What ended up resolving the issue is instead of me trying to explain all these steps, I just emailed them this form, but then there's another form, and this is really why I was wanting to talk about it. The other one that they asked about was the pastor's compensation and personal expenses form. That's what it's titled here. But if you go into the Google Drive, you won't find a form that is exactly that name. So going back to this page, if we clicked on this form, this is an online form that was actually created, I've got to give credit where credit is due, by our district superintendents, namely Reverend Dan Morley, who's now retired. He was the North District Superintendent. He worked really hard to combine this very complicated multiple forms system into one form that should be, I don't know, it's confusing to me, but it should be much easier for a pastor or church secretary to fill this out, or whoever it is that the pastor would work with. It combines multiple forms into one. And so that's why let me close this out. If you are looking for a single form that is called this in the Google Drive, you're not going to find it. Instead, what you'll find is, let's see here. I think it's yes, these 4 options. So it's really 2 forms. It's the pastor compensation with parsonage, and then there's pastor compensation with housing allowance. So you'll need to only download one of these 2, and you could either do the fillable PDF or the Microsoft Word version. So you'll need to know, is my pastor getting a housing allowance, or do they live in the church parsonage? And that'll help you choose which form you'll need. So again, that was for the pastor's compensation and personal expenses form. You will probably need the worksheet, and you can get the GCFA number from here. And like I said, they're available here. Any questions about that? Let me stop sharing so I can. Oh, there it is. All right. No hands up for that? Okay. All right, then so that was it for that piece. The next one that I want to share about is an HR training for the local church. This one's going to be on September 1st. Sorry, is it September 1st? I'm going to share my screen again so I can make sure. It is on September 18th. My goodness, of course, if it was September 1st, it would have already passed. Sorry. So this training is free, but it is hosted, or the featured presenter is Caitlin Congdon. She is from GCFA. She's the Chief Officer of Human Resources and Professional Development. And so she's 100% legit, very knowledgeable, super funny, very nice person. I think that this training is going to make some really complicated topics very easy to understand. She's very conversational, so this training should be for anyone and everyone at your church that has anything to do with the very many steps that are involved in hiring someone or keeping someone on staff. So we do list some questions in there. Hey, if you've ever experienced this, participate in this training. But there's actually a lot more that's going to get covered. To work at GCFA in the Human Resources Department and be in charge of it, he has to be on top of all the laws, the varying laws for the different states for human resources. Even if you just have one question that you always wondered about, I highly recommend that you register for this course, or it's not a course, it's a one-day workshop, training, whatever, or pass this along to others in your church that might be thinking about hiring someone or is responsible for writing the job description, any of that stuff. So I see there's something in the chat. What is GCFA? Great question. It is the General Commission on Finance and Administration for the United Methodist Church. I often say GCFA as if everybody knows that. Shame on me. I need to not use an acronym. So thank you for asking about that. So they are the General Commission. So they are from the United Methodist denomination. We also at the conference have Finance and Administration Commission. And so they would have information as well. But this human resources training is from, as David Topping would say, the mother church. So it is from the denomination and it's free, if I didn't mention that. So I'm going to include the link to this article so you can pass it along to whoever. And here's the registration. When you register, the response will be the Zoom join link information. So normally when you register for a Zoom meeting, you're registering right in Zoom, and that might add that meeting to your calendar. It might automatically send you a reminder an hour before the meeting starts, or maybe even the day before. This is not that type of registration. So be sure to share that if they want to attend this course, they should add this September 18th to their calendar, to their personal calendar, and the 7 p.m. join information, or 7 p.m. time, and the Zoom join information in their own calendar so that they don't forget to join it. All right, any other questions? Okay, next item is World Communion Sunday, that's October 1st. So I will be sending you the leader kit. And I'm not going to go in and share that page, but I will have the link to it. So if you've never used the UMC resources for the special Sunday giving, where that meeting begins at 5:30 and ends at 7 p.m. Sorry, thank you. Yes, the HR training begins at 5:30 and ends at 7 p.m. Thank you so much for saying that. That was via chat, by the way, for if you're watching the recording. So yeah, World Communion Sunday, great resources. Everything on the page that I'm going to send you the link to, you'll be able to download, copy, paste. No worries about copyright issues. They'll have graphics. They'll even have videos that you can share. It's helpful to use this stuff and plan on using it in advance of the special giving day. And you don't have to use it for October 1st. That's the recommended day, but you could use it anytime. So it's helpful to use this stuff in advance because it helps raise awareness about it and prepares your congregation for, okay, this is a special giving and I get what this is for because of all the other publicity that was shared. All right, next is the orientation to ministry event. This one's on October 5th. It's via Zoom, and normally this event would be, it's something that would happen during annual conference. Let me find that one. Is this one? Nope. Oh, I didn't have it open. My bad. So it's something that would happen during annual conference, and it's what it is whether it's someone that is considering going into ministry, like as in a pastor, a deacon, you know, any of those type of clergy type areas. There it is. That's the person that should come. Also, if it's somebody that, you know, I think also if it's someone that has already done that first step in talking to their pastor or district superintendent about it, they've got all kinds of questions about how do I pay for this? Or I already have a degree in XYZ, but now I think God's calling me in this other direction. So what do I need schooling wise, credentialing wise to be eligible for ordination? Or what's the time frame? There's all kinds of questions that people will have if they're considering becoming a pastor, a deacon, or home missioner, or any of that stuff. So this is the event to go to. This is a really unique opportunity because, like I said, normally we host it once a year. It's advertised during annual conference or maybe happening right after annual conference. So this is the second time that we're offering this year. Alrighty. Questions about that one? Okay, then the next one is, okay, Financial Peace University. So I'm certain that many of you have heard of this before, and it's not a unique ministry or event. Many churches have hosted Financial Peace University. My church did it once upon a time. And this particular one is one of the ones that I wanted to give you a heads up about because especially if you're in the East or West District, this is something that even though your church maybe didn't have to buy all the leaders kit and the participants stuff to host a Financial Peace University, this is one way that you can offer this course, which is a great course. I've taken it. We like our finances changed incredibly because we did the Financial Peace University. And it's a great way to meet other people, to grow your other ministries because of the relationships that you make at this Financial Peace University. So Crossroads UMC is hosting it, but they're extending it. You know what? We want to make sure that not just our church, our congregation, our community benefits from it. They want to extend the invitation out to the other area churches so you can share it in your communication channels as something that your church is offering in partnership with Crossroads UMC. And to make that easier for you, communicator, There is a social media graphic you can use, and they also have an event flyer. Either one of these you can download and use in your own communications. If you have questions about it, you can talk to Pastor Deontez Wimbley. It's on September 21st, and I don't think that they included a registration deadline, but I would suggest that if you're thinking about sharing this in your communications, you maybe should consider connecting with the church just to let them know, hey, we're going to share this. What's the question? Sorry, I'm seeing in chat. Is it too late to share the financial piece information in the October newsletter? Well, yeah, because it starts on September 21st. And I know that their license for this financial piece, like I think this is going to be the last time that they offer it, because their license to use it or offer it either ends in November or somewhere around there. Like it ends really soon. So this is their last chance to do it. Okay, no problem. All right, so yeah, so you can grab the stuff. I would say connect with Pastor Deontez just to let him know that I saw this stuff and we're going to share it in our church. Any other questions, something that you might want to include in there. If there is a deadline for registration, ask them about that, or whatever that it's going to help to be able to share this resource through your church communications. Okay. So if there's no questions about that one, then there's another communication learning week from, I think it's from Resource UMC. It's on October 16th through the 20th. So you got plenty of time, but what I want to be sure to include, I don't remember if I included this in my initial email notification about it, is that they have, so registration starts today. If you register by October 12th, so from today to October 12th, you get an extra 20% discount. And, but that discount, sorry. So that's when registration is open. September 12th through the October 12th is when it closes. The early bird 20% discount is only good until September 30th. So register before this month ends and you'll get that 20% discount. Let's go to that link to see real quick what else they have. So I know that part of what they're going to cover is things like TikTok. So if your church ever thought about, like, do we need to be on TikTok? How would we be? Oh, look, there it is. TikTok for churches, personal branding, things I wish I'd known about communications as a senior pastor, disaster communications, content for digital congregations, next level Canva tools, combating disinformation. Oh, that's a big one too. So it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good training. It's hosted by United Methodist Communications, so it's not Desert Southwest Conference offering it, but should be good. Promises to be good. Everything's not always spot on, but I've noticed when I participated in their trainings, there's always a few things that I've learned. Some stuff that's like, yeah, everybody knows that, but it's tough to teach for everyone when some people are in beginner, some people are expert, and a lot of us are somewhere in the middle. All right. Now, Arizona 5-Day Academy, they often have these. Oh, yes. And I will be sharing a link to that Communications Learning Week from Resource UMC. Thanks for asking, Betty. Okay, so Arizona 5-Day Academy, their next retreat in Tucson starts on October 22nd. You will see in tomorrow's weekly digest that there's a reminder coming up about registration closing. What I wanted to share with you, I'll share my screen real quick, are two things. One is that the deadline to register is September 22nd. So there's 10 days left. This article includes, and you'll get a link to this article as well, a bulletin insert that you can download to include for this Sunday if you want. There's also a video that you can share that talks about what this retreat is all about. You can share that on your social media. If you want to be able to play the video during worship, I'll try to to offer that as a download, so you don't have to ask for it. You'll just have it available, and you can download it and be ready to show that during the announcements time at worship if you want to advertise this. So yeah, registration deadline is September 22nd. And we now have a link. If any of your congregation did already register for this event, but they maybe only paid, I think it's like $200 to reserve a spot, and then the balance is due at some point. So now we also have the link to finish paying off the registration. So all that will be in this article that you're going to see next in tomorrow's weekly digest, but you'll also get the link in my follow-up notes. All right, questions about that one? Jennifer, go ahead. Oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that there is a, sorry, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to add that there's a $300 scholarship available for anyone who wants to do this for the first time, which is a big chunk of the final cost. And there will be, this one's going to be a little different from all the previous ones because we'll be going on field trips to see certain areas in Tucson where the inn where they do take in people from the borders, and across the border we're also going. So there's like 4 different. If you've never done it before, this is a.
Thank you. You were cutting in and out a little bit, but I understood
That's all.
that you said it's an amazing experience. This
Oh,
particular
sorry.
one is field trip oriented. You get to check out some of the ministries that are currently active working with immigration. You also go to the border. Did you say that too?
Yes. Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. So
yes.
What you will need to advertise that, let me see if I've got that open. Oops. It's reading. Okay, so yes, the article's there. You can download the, oh yeah, I already talked about that. But there's other things that you can get if you click on the AZ 5-Day Academy link in that article. So obviously there's the actual registration link, event flyer. You could copy and paste any of these items, the reasons for 5 days, the FAQs, the press release, and include those in your stuff. And there's details here about the presenters and a little bit more about the event. And that video that you can share is this one here. So you can watch it there if you want to consider sharing it to advertise about this event. Okay, questions about it? All right, I think that was the last one. Oh no, there's also GCFA Help Desk. So I mentioned GCFA before. So another resource that the General Commission on Finance and Administration offers is IT support. We have them as our IT support at the conference. And part of having a clergy email address for each of our Desert Southwest Conference clergy is free IT support for their email account. So if your pastor is one of the persons that maybe was struggling with, I don't ever check it because it's confusing, or I can't just download it to my phone, there's no app for it, or I don't know. There's so many different reasons why a person would not want to have an extra email address. Totally get it. But what I'm saying is if you work with GCFA's help desk, either you as the communications person, you could provide that type of support, maybe not necessarily taking care of it for them, but letting them know, look, if you want to be able to find it on your phone, or if you want it to be email feed that's in your existing email account that you use, or if you want a shortcut icon on the desktop of your laptop or desktop computer, GCFA can help with that. They can get it all set up and work with that clergy person directly over the phone or going back and forth via email, or they can connect to view their screen and just take care of it for them while the pastor's watching. They're wizards and can figure it out for all these different types of devices. So in my follow-up message, you will get both the email address to contact GCFA's help desk and the phone number to call them. They are available 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but in their, the whole team is available during regular business hours, and they are not in Arizona time. I think they're Eastern time. And so if you contact them in the evening or the weekend or even at 5 p.m. Arizona time, it's really just going to be kind of like a doctor's office. It's going to be the one person that is on call that's going to be responding. So you might hear dogs barking in the background, a baby crying, whatever, but you know, not much they can do about that. They have to go home at some point. And but it is nice that they do have someone assigned to be on call even in the evenings and the weekends. So yeah, they could always, clergy can always contact me as well. I'm just saying I'm not an IT person, so I do what I can to help, and oftentimes it's good enough. But in case they ever did reach out to me and I wasn't able to help, I do try to refer them to GCFA. And so you can share that with pastors as well. All right. Any other questions or something that somebody wants to share? No? All right. Well, thank you all for joining me. I'll see you next week on Tuesday Talks.